This video's already making me feel bad. I'm only on the second book. This is ridiculous. Okay. Hello, my lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Heather, and this is the happenings with H.A.P. H.A.P. meaning my initials. So today, I decided this is going to be an inaugural video for a new series I wanted to start on my channel called Left on the Shelf. So this series will be where I go through my bookshelves and pull off books that have been on there for a year or more. I'm very ashamed to say I have a lot of books behind me that I still have not read yet. Because typically what I do is I will purchase books, read them, and then give them to my mom to take them back home to where I'm from in Pennsylvania. So ones I want to keep, I do that with. If I really don't want them, I'll donate them. But that means that where I'm at in New York, most of my bookshelves are books that I have not read yet, which is fine. Buying books happens, it's cool. But some of these are really just embarrassing because I've had them on my shelves for so long. So yeah, the books I'm going to show you are only a little bit of what I have. So I'll probably continue this series every now and then. Ideally, I shouldn't have to continue this series, but knowing myself, especially with the fact that when I read audiobooks, I typically don't read any audiobooks that are books I already own physically. So if this series interests you, please like and subscribe down below. I'm trying to grow this community, and everyone that I've met on here has been so lovely and so wonderful. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. This should be really fun and very, very embarrassing. So I'm kind of debating if I want to go from oldest to newest. I think I'll do that. All right. Yeah. So a little caveat about this first book. When I got my dog Theo as a puppy, insert gratuitous cute photo now. He was a little destructive at first, and he did unfortunately get into some of my books. So some of my books have damage on them, but I'm not going to throw them away because they're still technically readable. But yeah, this first one is kind of bad. So PSA, trigger warning for anyone that does not like to see damaged books. So the first book that has been left on my shelf is The Once and Future King by T.H. White. As you can see, he got to this one. But luckily, he just missed the words, so it is still possible for me to read this, and it's only in the first, within the first 10 pages. Yeah, I know it looks bad. I don't really want to hold it for very long, so I'm gonna try. I've been wanting to read this book for years, and sadly enough, I've had it on my shelf for years. My friend Dee had actually gotten this for me for my birthday before I lived in New York, and I've lived in New York for going on 12 years. So this is bare minimum at least 12 years old, but I know it's older, and I've had it for 12 years. I told you, this is very much a shame video. This book is essentially about the King Arthur legend, which is why I wanted to read it. I honestly can't say why I haven't read it yet. It's just, there's so many books in the world and there's not enough time. And to read a physical book takes me time, though it's not like it's huge print. Like, this book is over 500 pages, over 600 pages. It's 677 pages, so it's a big boy. So that's kind of intimidating. And I want to one day read it. I hope I do. It's literally the, pinnacle of fantasy. It's one of the earliest fantasy stories. It's bad, I know. This whole video is just gonna be me in shame, so I hope you guys are enjoying it. But yeah, I know it's bad. So this next book is literally a paperweight. I've just picked it up and it's super freaking heavy. And it's also one I think I've had on my shelf about as long as The Once and Future King. And that book is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. This is a big boy. This is a Bible. This is huge. This is, oh God. Not even gonna count the acknowledgements. This is 1,006 pages long. This is the main reason I've not read this book. I remember buying it at the Strand. I bought this version at the Strand because it's actually the British cover version. And I bought it for cheap. I probably only spent maybe $7 on this book. I've had it, I know, for at least a decade or more. And I know that they made a BBC series about this too that I still haven't watched because I want to read the book before I watch it. But I Literally, the biggest thing is the size of this book. It's so huge, and like, oh, it's really pretty cover art. Like, it's shameful to have this book, and like I said, I've had it for so long, and it's literally just, the red cover just stares me in the face whenever I look at my bookshelf, because it's taunting me, because it knows that I'm not going to read it right now because I have so many other things to read, because this would probably take me, I read fast, and it'll probably still take me months. I don't even remember what this book is about. It's about magicians in Napoleonic England. There's necromancy. Is there a bromance in here? Anyway, yeah, I want to read this. I want to watch the show. This is definitely one, though, where, like, the size is the biggest hindrance and intimidation for me. That's what she said. Next is actually not a book. It's a book series, and that is the Millennium series by Stieg Larsson, and that includes The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, The Girl Who Played with Fire, and The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest. So I actually got these books soon after I saw the original Swedish version of the film. That came out in 2009. And I've also seen The Girl Who Played with Fire. I've seen that adaptation, also the Swedish version. And I've also seen the David Fincher adaptation as well. Let me know if you want me to do a video comparing those, because I have seen both of them. And the biggest reason I've definitely not read these, so like I said, I've had these on my shelf since around probably 2009, 2010. So that's 10 years at least, 10 or 11 years. I love the films, but if you've ever seen them, they're super dark. It takes place in Sweden, and I believe it's a detective and then this hacker, and they're trying to solve a murder case, specifically a woman's murder case. The major themes of these books is essentially how men are just terrible to women, and the patriarchal society that we live in, and sex crimes and abuse and stuff like that. So these are really heavy, heavy reads. Whenever I look at them, like, I just not felt like putting myself through that, because if you've seen the films, they're tough enough. But obviously, as we all know, with books, it's way more nuanced and detailed. Though I do like the crime and mystery aspect of it. So Stieg Larsson died suddenly in 2004 and was not able to finish the series. He had planned on making 10 installments, but only actually made 3. Another journalist, writer, has actually kind of picked up the token. So if you do see things that look like they're from the series, they're actually not written by Stieg Larsson. It's only these 3. But yeah, so it's really the subject matter. I'm definitely going to get around to these. I just have to be in the right headspace. It's kind of how I feel whenever I watch, like, Handmaid's Tale. I have to be in the headspace to enjoy it. Once I'm in that headspace, it's like, okay. But it's a lot. They're very heavy. Trigger warnings for rape, abuse, molestation, pedophilia, murder. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's heavy. And that's primarily the reason I haven't read these. I really should get around to it. I've been kind of in a crime mood lately, so it's possible I might read these sooner rather than later. Yeah, that's why I haven't read these. The next book we have is The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling. So I'm going to address this in this video. I might as well. I've not really addressed it on my channel yet. I'm a Harry Potter fan. I purchased this one years ago. As you can see, Theo got some bite marks on it. I've still yet to read it. I purchased it at the time because I love J.K. Rowling's writing. I still love her writing, though I've heard that this is not nearly as engaging as the Harry Potter series. I really don't want to read this now. I'm conflicted about supporting a person who is a TERF. Trans women are women. I don't know how much more clear you can say that, but they are. And her weird diatribe she's been going on about this in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of civil rights, race relation atrocities, like, I don't understand. So I will always love the Harry Potter series. I will always relate to those characters. I think at this point, the Harry Potter series is owned by the fans now. The series ended 13 years ago. So she'll always be making money from that. I get it. I get that people want to basically throw their books away, not visit the Harry Potter world and Universal Studios, not do anything, maybe not see the play when theater opens back up. I get that. But those books were such a huge part of my life that I guess it's my privilege. I mean, really, it's my privilege to disassociate the author from that work. And the books are problematic, especially looking at them in a 2020 lens. The books are so problematic. There are definitely issues that I have with them. They're not perfect. But it's really tough, and I feel for people that are still struggling with this idea. And Dana Radcliffe's statement on it is probably the best I've seen, in that if they've brought you joy, if that they've touched your lives in any sort of way, it's okay to still hold on to that. But if you don't want to anymore, obviously you don't have to. So that's part of the reason now, especially, I just don't care to read this. I don't know. I probably will eventually, but at least right now, I know she's been a TERF for way longer than 2020, but she hasn't doubled down as much as she has now. So before all that, I just hadn't read this because I was ambivalent. I'm like, okay, it's a crime mystery, but then I heard not great things. So I'm just like, yeah, this is just kind of a meh. Maybe I'll get to it, maybe I won't. But I figured I'd throw it in here, and I figure I'd address that because as a booktuber, and especially as a white cis woman booktuber, I should be addressing it. And yeah, I'm on the stance: trans women matter, trans lives matter, trans women are women, trans men are men, trans non-binary are non-binary. So yeah, J.K. Rowling as a person is fucking trash though. So the last set is also a series, and I've actually read one book from the series. I've yet to finish the series, but I figured I'd include it anyway because I still had these a very embarrassingly long amount of time. And that series is the His Dark Materials series by Philip Pullman, and that includes The Golden Compass, The Subtle Knife, and The Amber Spyglass. I've read The Golden Compass completely, and as you can see, I've started a while ago The Subtle Knife. I've so far really liked this series. I've had this book set for probably 7 or 8 years. I've had it for a long time. And I also really enjoy just the way that this set looks. Lately, I've just been reading so many audiobooks, and that's basically the reason, like, The Subtle Knife right now is just kind of still slow going. And I wanted to pick up the pace, but I'm also, like, hadn't read it in a while, and then I had to restart it. So it's just a matter of consistency and me being lazy and me being like, ooh, shiny and new. But I will say that I love The Golden Compass. I think I gave it a 4 stars. And it's a really interesting fantasy series. I'd wanted to finish this series actually back before the premiere of the HBO His Dark Materials adaptation. But I did not. I think I finished The Golden Compass, and then things happened. Life happened. I do want to finish it. I will finish it because I would love to do, for my own YouTube sake, a comparison video between the show and the books. But yeah, I just gotta actually buckle down and read it. Like I said, this one is specifically a case of laziness because they are children's books. They're not that long. They have pretty big type. It's not that bad. The Amber Spyglass is the longest, and that's like only a little over 500 pages. So it's in big type. It's pretty, I could probably read it pretty quickly. But yeah, so that's what that's about. It's still pretty shameful I've had them this long, and I've actually started reading them and still haven't finished them. And that's it. That's the video. Like I said, these were pretty shameful and I felt pretty bad about them, but they are what they are. Let me know down below if you guys have any shameful books that have been on your TBR or on your actual bookshelf for a long, long time. Maybe we have similar ones. I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it was some fun to watch me squirm while I air my dirty laundry. I hope you guys have a great day, and until I see you in my next video, bye! Future King by T.J. and that is Jonathan Norrell by Susanna Clarke. And that series is the His Dark Materials. Decided this is going to be an not